I needed to do this first one here because I realized that most of us are making these mistakes, and some people have gone down 6 feet because of these simple mistakes. Welcome to Life with NK. And what is it? When you are too trusting, when you believe a friend that has turned enemy. I'm going to share a story. This friend, we were very close at some point. A lot of things happened and we fell apart. In short, it was something that if somebody tell me that we would ever come back together, I wouldn't believe it. But somehow, um, things didn't work out and everybody went their separate ways. All of a sudden, this person came again and started trying to be friends with me, trying to be nice with me. Now, my first reaction was this. I realized that it's good to make peace, and then and making peace does not mean you have to go back to your vomit or go back to the way the friendship has been. But you have to be very smart and intentional to know that there are some relationships that don't need to be, especially when you want to move on, and especially knowing maybe the way you guys broke up. So I employed the 48 law of powers, one of which was cut an enemy from the roots. Everybody, even from the time of Moses, knows that if you just cut an enemy from the branch, maybe a friend and enemy. No, enemy here does not mean somebody that wants to kill, but somebody you just have to avoid. Everybody must not be in your space. Just know that if you cut an enemy from the branch, it will grow up again. But if you cut it from the roots, it's out. So when the person came back again into my life, I didn't shut the person out entirely. What I did was simply we exchanged pleasantries, but I was very careful. I also employed the law of David. David knew that his life was in trouble whenever he's around Saul. What did he do? He threw himself at his in-law because Saul was his in-law. Remember, he gave him his daughter. No, he didn't. He was very smart and he always tried to avoid Saul. Do you understand? So this is actually for somebody because a lot of persons have lost their life because of those simple mistakes. When a friend that you guys are very close and you people are friends becomes an enemy, and you know that okay, this person even planned to a point of killing you or doing something evil, and then the person later comes back, be wise, be smart. Being at peace does not mean you should become the way you are before. You accepted the person, you don't have any ill feelings for the person in your mind. Know your limits. Know the limits of what you are doing with that person. It is not wickedness. It is not because you guys are not close again. It is because you are being careful with your life. It is because you're being intentional with your life. You have to know how to give space. Learn to prioritize your boundaries. Somebody have threatened to kill you before. Somebody have said the worst about you before. Somebody have betrayed your trust. And then you people fell out and the person is coming back and you just openly accepted the person. If anything happens to you, it is your fault. David did not openly give himself to Saul when he knew that Saul was an enemy. Even when Saul will invite him, thank God for persons like Jonathan. We need to have friends like Jonathan, people that will even go against their family to tell us the truth of what their family is planning against us. That is Jonathan for you. These are friends that stick closer than a brother. Everybody needs to have a friend like Jonathan. So you need to know how to avoid those kind of people. Please don't swallow poison. I remember Achebe in one of his books said something, said it is fear of causing offense that makes men swallow poison. When I started reading books that started getting into my psyche and making me more intentional with my life, I realized that no is not a bad answer. Somebody is coming back for your friendship. There is nothing wrong. Nobody has died in history for saying no. You can subtly, respectfully say no, you don't want, and let the person go. Do you understand? Once a friend now becomes an enemy, coming back as a friend, be wise. Because the person might finish you up. He might finish you up, he might not finish you up. But I think for your own sanity, for your own safety, don't accept that friendship. Don't accept the friendship. Or even if you're going to accept the friendship, but don't. David never accepted friendship with Saul. He mourned Saul, he loved Saul, and all of that. But he was very careful around Saul. He didn't open himself up to Saul. Most times he will cry to God and wonder what he has done and all of that. The adversary was much. And I remember Saul telling his son, he says, see you, you're supporting David. You're supporting our enemy. Imagine you, if David becomes the king, do you know that you will not have the throne? At the end of the day, we know what happened to them. They all died in the war. But we could see that Saul wanted to plot even his own family against David. But David, in all he was doing, was very smart and very wise. He didn't open up himself foolishly to Saul. So that's what I'm telling you in this video. Don't open up yourself foolishly to a friend that becomes an enemy and is trying to come back like a friend. Don't try that. Your life might go for it. If you want to get more wisdom on this, go and read 48 Laws of Power. No enemy. If you want to exterminate an enemy, if you want to get rid of an enemy, don't think enemy is one person far, far, far. Most times enemies are friends. They pose as friends. Do you understand? Know that an enemy must be uprooted. Uprooting an enemy from the root doesn't mean that you have to kill the person. Not at all. Avoid the person and everything totally about the person. If you used to eat the person's food, don't eat it again. That's when he comes back as a friend after being an enemy. Comes back, yes, like a friend after being an enemy. Don't eat that person's food. It's kind of social media. Can talk online, that is all. Exchange pleasantry, be smart so that you don't lose your life, right? Well, thank you for staying to the end of this video. I trust somebody have learned something on this video. Please, if this has encouraged you, can you please subscribe to this channel? Give me a thumbs up. You have to be creative. Understand, being creative in your thinking is also very important. So see you again in my next one. Bye.